Hey everyone, and welcome to your C++ example on classes. So as you can see, I have Visual Studio Code pulled up here in our Hello World program ready to go. I'm going to delete the Hello World instruction. And as always with these examples, I'm just going to write some code. I'm going to explain what I'm doing, but I'm not going to go too deep into the concepts and stuff like that, because that's what the previous videos were for. And that's what the previous videos did. So let's just jump right into it. What I'm going to try to create here is a dog years calculator. And so the whole point of this program is going to be to take in somebody's age and output their age in dog years, right? And we could do this without classes and without functions and without a lot of stuff. But the point of this example is to illustrate these concepts. So I'm going to be using these concepts in this example, even though they're not 100% necessary. It's just good to sort of illustrate in a simple way the syntax around these concepts. So let's get into it. What I'm going to begin with is a print statement that just says, welcome to dog years calculator. And I'm going to follow that up with an end line. I'm going to copy this. And I'm also going to say, please enter your age. So what we're going to do is we're going to store this age in a class. And that class is going to be called human. So we will say human. And we're going to create a... So I'm going to get some autofill there. We're going to create for our public space, we're going to have a public integer called age that will represent the age of the human. I'm going to, since this is public, we can access this outside the scope of our class. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new... Sorry, thinking about the last tutorial. I'm going to create a new instance of a human. We're going to call him Pete, which is my name. And we are going to do a input. And we're going to input Pete.age here. So the input here is going to take in a integer. We're going to store it in this age variable. We will get into throwing exceptions and things like that, which is how you would cover sort of like the instance where they don't enter the right type of input for this particular situation. But to keep the scope of our example sort of narrow and focused, I'm just gonna always put in a number here. So here we now have our age here, and we store it in our human variable, or in the age member variable of our human class. So what I'd like to do too is we haven't covered creating functions inside of classes, which are called methods. So I'm going to create this function outside of our human class, which we probably should do anyway because it's not really a human related behavior. I'm going to create a function that returns an integer called calculate dog years, and it's going to take in a parameter of an integer. We will call this human years, and I am going to return human years multiplied by 7. So they say, every 1 human year is equivalent to 7 dog years. I've actually heard it's a little bit different depending on the period of the dog's life. So it's more up front and less as you get older, as the dog gets older, but whatever. So we're going to use this calculate dog years function over here. We will create an integer called age in dog years. And we are going to set age in dog years to be equal to calculate dog years, and we're going to pass in Pete.age, and then we are going to print out your age in dog years. And we're going to print out age in dog years. End line. And there we go. So, this is our dog years calculator. We print out, hey, welcome to the dog years calculator. Please enter your age. We create a human object here, and we take an input of a number and assign that to our age member variable of our human object, of the Pete object. Then we create an age and dog years variable in the same way that we created a human variable, right? We have the type and the name. We take our age and dog years and assign it to the return type, or to the return value of our calculate dog years method or function. And so what our calculate dog years does is it takes in an input of our human years and multiplies it by 7. So we pass in our age member variable, and we should get that multiplied by 7 and then store it in this variable. And then we print out your age and dog years and our age and dog years variable. It'll take the value from that. So let's compile this. Looks good. Let's run our code. Welcome to dog years calculator. Please enter your age. I am 34. Your age in dog years is 238. Wow. I feel very old. But there you have it. So we have our dog years calculator. We've used a very basic instance of a class here. We've created a function, and we're doing input and output. As we talked about before, when you create a class, you're really creating a type. And so we use our human type to create an instance of our human class. We call that instance Pete. We access the instance member variable age, and we use that age. We pass that age into calculate dog years. Remember, when you're accessing a member variable, if it's public, it's the same as any other variable. So you can pass it in as a parameter. You can do all kinds of things. And when we're creating our human class, we can put any type of variable in here. We can put arrays, we can put vectors, we can put integers, doubles, booleans, strings, whatever you want can go inside of a class. And if you make it public, it can be accessed outside of that class. We're going to go over next week in the encapsulation section of our course about why you don't want to do that. But for now, life is good. We can just access our variables publicly. After we do that, we perform our function here, which is to just multiply it by 7. And then we store it in this variable that we created here. And then we print it out for the user to see and to make them feel old. So there you have it. This has been just a quick example of how to use your sort of basic classes and member variables in a program to make you feel bad about your age.